Welcome to Prague in the Czech Republic for the first IFSC senior competition of the year. It's exciting to be here, and what an event the organisers have put on for us. I think we're actually on the live speaker right now. I can hear my voice doubled up, so that's exciting. But I'm joined by Chloe Koskoy in the commentary box. Chloe, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well, Matt. Thank you so much for having me back in the booth. I'm super excited for this final. It's looking like a great round.
It is going to be exciting. The athletes came on previously to have a look at the boulders, and we'll see a replay of that in a sec, but that is our crowd. Is that, what language is that? I don't know, but anyway, whoever they're supporting, fair play. So we're going to have a look at the calendar first of all, because we're nearing the halfway point of the season, which I'm kind of sad about, to be honest with you. But Prague, that's where we are right now. We head up to Brixen next week, in fact. Straight from Brixen to Innsbruck. Vila for the lead, and there's a paraclimbing one before that. Chamonix, Briançon, Copper, and then Wujiang in China. Be good to return there after a couple of years break. Now, Chloe, semi-finals happened earlier on today. An exciting round for everyone, and we're going to watch a replay to see how our 6 athletes got this far. Very difficult round for the athletes. What did you think about it generally?
Yeah, this round had a lot of jumpy moves in the beginning, but then pretty hard, maybe more static, or you know, a lot of grip grabbing at the top sequence. So I think we had a good variety of skills tested throughout the round, which was really cool. A lot of really crazy and impressive moves throughout the semifinal. It was a great round. A lot of tops on different boulders. Not many people topping all the boulders, or no one topping all the boulders. So that was quite cool to see.
Yeah, it was good for everyone. And that man, Adam Ondra, well, we didn't know what form he'd be in. This is his first time coming back into a World Cup, and it's really good to have him in the final. And the crowd just went crazy every time he tops out a boulder.
Yeah, the crowd will be very, very excited to see him here in the final tonight.
That's Jan-Luca Posch, his first boulder final, so this will be a PB whatever he does, and that outrageous first move to kick things off. Now, he's one of those athletes a little bit taller, and he uses his height to his advantage, which is good to see.
Yeah, very much so. One of few athletes to have either flashed this first move or done it very quickly. Super impressive on such a intricate coordination.
Absolutely. Then Mejdi, he's back. He was missing from Salt Lake, decided to take a break to train. Back with a bang. He's won the first 2 gold medals of the season, and this was the slab. And usually we expect to see him jumping around, but he did this beautifully.
Yeah, Mejdi has definitely proved himself to be a great slab climber throughout this season. So it'll be exciting to see what he can do on tonight's slab.
Yeah, there is another slab, of course. Apparently a little bit easier than that one, but we shall see. And then this really physical boulder. We saw Yannick Floe did it earlier on. A blocked last move, and Yoshiyuki looked to find feet and eventually just decided he didn't really need his feet and just one-armed into it. Awesome to see. And good to see him back in a final again. And then finally, Do-Hyun Lee from South Korea.
He looked incredible.
Yeah, he's so, I mean, you said it at the beginning. The first time I mentioned his name, you were like, he is looking so strong, and it was pure power, wasn't it? Look at this, he tried to find a feet, he lost a foot. He couldn't do that because it was blocked deliberately, and then just decided just to thug it out, slap for the top, hold the spin nicely. And that was one of his tops. So that is our top 6. Those are our athletes. And you can see the sun actually shining onto that slab. Hopefully that will move around, because it is pretty hot here in the stadium.
Yeah, the athletes are really going to want to optimize the friction on those holds. The sun on some of those slopers is not going to be nice, so we'll see how they manage that.
Absolutely. Well, I described this venue as a car park earlier, which does not do it justice, because the organisers have put on a heck of a show for us today. There are 2 walls. We focus on one for the final and semi-finals. Behind that wall is a beautiful park that spreads off. We're in the car parky bit of it, but There's a church over on our right. The city spreads out around us, and it is awesome to be here. So thank you, Prague. Yannick Floe comes out. Good to see him back in the finals. Hasn't made the finals this year for Boulder, so it's going to be exciting.
Adam Ondra, very exciting to see him here, of course.
The media scrum surrounding him. Like, we had to get an interview with him, and I mean, I'm not used to queuing, frankly, and I had to queue up to speak to Adam Ondra, which was amazing. It's so good to see. He was swamped by people. It was incredible.
Yeah, very impressive climbing on his part to maintain that composure and that extra hometown pressure to make the final here in Prague.
I always get the feeling with Adam that he stresses quite a lot about quali and semis, and then by the time he gets to final, he just lets it go. You know, it is what it is. He's experienced enough, and he does look so much happier out there on the stage. Of course, Jan-Luca Posch next to him, then Mejdi, then Yoshiyuki, and then Do-Hyun Lee after that. So that's our top 6. There he is. And we said it, I think maybe we were talking about it in Japan, but he has matured so much, Mejdi, over the off-season. Like, he was always physically there, but he just seems to have gained a stronger mental health head game, I think.
Absolutely. His composure and confidence kind of going through every quali, every semi. He looks very focused, very present on the wall, intentional in his movements. And that's something that we often see in more seasoned competitors. I believe this is only his 2nd season. So very impressive athlete.
Absolutely. Right, well, they will exit to the backstage area now and get themselves ready. And I think in a minute we're going to see a replay of their observation time that happened before we went on air. And we'll have a chance to look at the boulders a little bit closer, see what's going on with them. And in fact, here we go. This is the observation. So Yoshiyuki Ogata reading it with Do-Hyun Lee. Good to see Yoshiyuki back, because I don't know if he's still got a ticket for the World Champs yet, but he certainly didn't. So it's good to see him proving to the Japanese selectors how good he actually is.
Yeah, definitely. And we know Yoshiyuki is no stranger to a Boulder World Cup final, so it'll be exciting to see what he can do here tonight. I'm sure he's very excited to be back on the big stage here.
It's interesting, I didn't notice that. You don't often see sort of athletes spread out across the boulders. I don't quite know what was going on there, but there's Adam and Yannick and Jan-Luca looking at what I think is M2 on the far right.
Yeah, we can see Adam and Jan-Luca are a little bit taller athletes for this field, so it'll be interesting to see if they read together.
Yeah, that is men's too, and super physical this. Jump up into a press, then you go left towards the zone. Horrible sort of side pull flatty thing. And the final hold is what got me. You can see the jib, the blue jib, that's for the thumbs. You've got to right arm it, get a foot over, and then match it. It's going to be a complicated ending for them. So no nationality with more than one athlete in our final, which is rare, actually.
Oh.
And Chloe, you climbed with her yesterday. We've got to talk about Janja Garnbret because she's back with a bang. How good did Janja look during the qualifying, eh?
Yeah, I mean, she looked incredible, flashing 4 of the 5 boulders, I believe. And then even in warm-up, it's just incredible the way she moves and how strong she is. So I'm very excited to see her climb in tomorrow's semifinal and hopefully tomorrow's final as well.
Absolutely, and that will take place tomorrow. So today is just the men, so opposite of Salt Lake, where it was the women first. Today it's the men first. We had the semi-final earlier on. Now it's the final, and tomorrow at 12 p.m. I think is the women's semi-final, and at 7 p.m., so an hour earlier than this, Central European time, there is the women's final. Now, our MC is just out there on the stage hyping up the audience. We've got a slight delay due to some technical issues, which is all good because the crowd are having a good time anyway out there. And Chloe, talk to me about this venue. Describe it a little bit, because this is only a little part of what's actually going on here, isn't it?
Yeah, so there's a ton of tents in the back, which is really cool. It's giving a great vibe, and it's really fun to just walk around and kind of hang out at the venue. A lot of food trucks in the back. There were people trick lining on the slack lines back there, which is really cool. There's some hanging contests, like who can hang in the cracks or on some slopers, which was great. I think that's a lot of fun for the public, and it's really turning out to be a really great event.
Absolutely, and the Czech beer is flowing out on the left. Of course, I haven't partaken, but I might do later. I mean, I'm in the Czech Republic. I've got to have a cheeky beer. But yeah, the organisers putting on food trucks, as you said, lots of stuff going on. And And Team USA, a few missing from your team at this comp, mainly from the women's side. We're talking about Brooke and Natalia and Annie Sanders. But how is Team USA doing at the moment?
Yeah, they're all looking quite good. I think taking a break just to focus on lead and kind of make those final tune-ups before a big trip here to Europe.
There we go. Well, this is slab. This is not a slab. It looks like a slab on that screen, but it's actually quite steep at the top. Juggy start, but bad feet to get stood up. And that zone, the route setters were telling me you got to jump up to it in like a cross arms to get it.
Yeah, it definitely looks like you'll have to cross, or sometimes we call that be handcuffed, just because if you were to grab them straight on, it would be so close to compress. So they might cross, and I imagine they will come back down to that other hold and maybe even flip their left hand. Very interesting boulder. Looks very exciting. We'll have some coordination straight off the start.
Yeah, at the moment, it's quite contrasty on stage, as you can see the shadows and the light just dancing across. And I think we've just got the okay that we're underway, and the MC counts us down with a 3, 2, 1. And our first athlete, Yannick Flo, enters the stage. He'll be the first to climb in front of this audience here in Prague. So Yannick gets underway, and as I said, hasn't made a final this year. Bit of a surprise because he had such a strong finish 2022.
Right, Yannick is looking really strong. He looked very dialed in during the semifinal. I'm very excited to see what he can do here tonight.
So he did that first move the way I initially thought it would be, which is bumping up to the right hand below the zone. But, oh, there, straight into the cross. How did you spot that? Like, I know this is your job, I understand that, but like to mere mortals, we'd think it'd be a right hand. So what about that do you see as the cross?
Well, I think while you're standing under there, you look up, and just grabbing one of those two holds would be quite hard to hold. So you're thinking, okay, I definitely need both. Then thinking of grabbing them straight on, if you can imagine just how intense it would be to squeeze them together while they're that close, versus when you get in that handcuffed position, you're really able to pull those two holds kind of apart, away from each other. It's actually much easier to create kind of that tension that way.
Really fascinating. I love asking stuff like that from athletes, because genuinely I wouldn't have thought of that if I'd looked at that board. I would have fallen off it a million times and walked away. So yeah, power from Yannick, and he's getting closer and closer with every move.
Very close. It's looking if he can get a little higher on those feet, might be able to really engage those properly. Luckily, just that bottom part there is in the sun. Those will be all right if they warm up a little bit, but that upper part is staying in the shade for now.
Yeah, it's a good point, because it's probably the brightest part on the stage. That's the hold he's going for. Oh, gets it this time. And now he needs to drop back down to the other side pull underneath him by his right knee. I think he's matching.
For the match. Nice. I imagine people might go first to the undercling and flip, but that looked much more controlled if you match.
Now, the best way to do this is to carry on through the movement, to not try to stop on that blue hold and finish in the top. But it's easier said than done. But he's got 2 minutes, which is a lot of time to work out that sequence.
Yeah, now he knows how to grab those upper two. He's felt that body position, so ideally he'll be able to get there again pretty quickly. But you never know. It can be really tricky to repeat a move that you've done. So.
Absolutely right. Yannick pulls on once more with 1:34. He hasn't had much rest. He's kept on going at this move. Misses it this time. Now, if you want to know the scores, it's on the bottom left of your screen. So the T6, that's the amount of attempts. And then you can see the bar on the right that gets filled halfway up for a zone, fully up for a top.
And we see that left zone hold is actually blocked, so making that coordination even trickier. You have to be more precise.
I can't believe that match he does. It's crazy. Right, so this is the hold. He needs to paddle. Oh, he does stop. All right. Yannick's legendary contact static strength there. Look at that. And that's going to be an easy finish from him. Good work from Yannick. I think he wanted a better position to celebrate and couldn't find it. Apparently, the route setters have almost, not deliberately, it's just happened. They blocked the top of the wall, and Do-Hyun Lee went up to celebrate on the top of it and missed it. He couldn't actually grab the top of the wall.
Yeah, I saw actually Yoshiyuki did that as well. Hannes too. They like to grab the top of the wall, turn around, spot the crowd, give a little celebration and cheer, but that won't be possible on the top of the wall here. So
there's like a whole extra zone move that should be. They'll get extra
the
points.
finish holds are looking pretty good though, so hopefully we'll get some nice celebrations up there.
Absolutely. Well, if Adam Ondra can top this boulder, you're about to hear that crowd go crazy. There's a smoke machine on stage, for goodness sake. That's awesome. I don't know where that puff of smoke came. Hopefully it's not a fire. I presume it's a machine. Right, now this is described by the route setters as the easiest boulder out there. So we're expecting, they said maybe 3 to 4 tops on this, but obviously really hard to tell. So that's the method that you were saying is more difficult because you have to press in rather than pull out.
Yeah, exactly. So if you can imagine with your hands crossed, you're pulling them away from each other. It's just so much easier to have force that way versus pushing them together. And it's a move that we saw, I believe, in the men's qualification as well. They started a boulder that way and had to jump out of that position. So it's a move that they've seen already this comp.
Well, there it is, the zone hold. Adam goes into it with the cross. I wondered if Adam was you know, he's been on the circuit for such a long time, and I was wondering how his training was going, and an insider told me that apparently he's been training incredibly hard for this. Like, this is his full focus right now, which is good to hear.
Yeah, it's super impressive that he managed to kind of calm the nerves and make the final here in Prague, because definitely you can sense the crowd is fully behind him, and they've got high expectations for sure.
Yeah, the pressure of it being your first comeback. I think I would have done one in the US or something just to sort of ease my way in before coming, but we'll see. He's won 6 previous Boulder World Cups, so super experienced, and just perhaps, I don't know, I was thinking about what to call this. In boxing, I think it's called ring rust when you haven't been back. I don't know what to call it. Mat rust? Who knows? As in Matt Rust, not my rust. Right, Adam into the zone. And what is that? Is he? He was like pinching that.
He went also straight off that bottom foot, so he didn't jump his foot up to that left one like the others, or like Yannick did. Let's see if he goes all the way through. He's looking to stop on that blue one as well. It'll be interesting to see what athletes choose to stop there and which athletes prefer to use their momentum and carry through to the finish.
Yeah, I'd imagine Adam, like, I always see him as more of a static climber than a sort of like big paddle move guy. So I think he'll go for that.
I agree. I think he'll go for the same method as Yannick. But a little bit different at the start here. He wasn't using that high left foot.
Stretching out to lock in the zone. He's getting that every time. Look at this pinch he's doing. Big hands from Adam. Quite an outdoory style move, that.
Got that pogo. Nice.
Beautiful from Adam. This should be doable from here. So get ready for a crowd reaction. But he's got to make sure of it. Locks the hands in, catches the volume. Good top from Adam. And yeah, the crowd going absolutely insane. There's flashing lights, there's strobes, there's everything. And he is enjoying this moment as he should.
What a crowd here in Prague.
Really cool to see. Well, this is the top. So Adam got the final hold. Slow motion as he brings the right foot through, making sure that's standing right on top of the volume. Good precision from him. Drops to the volume, and then from there it was a pretty simple case of matching that final hold. Good work from Adam. And kind of what we want to see at the beginning of this competition. Next up will be Jan Luca Posch onto the stage. Here he is, his first final. Chloe, I mean, obviously we don't know what he's thinking, but the nerves must be going off for him right now.
The nerves are, I imagine there's also a part of you that's just like, this is so special. I'm going to go out there and try my best to enjoy this moment and have really no expectations. So no matter what he does, it'll be his best result so far. And I think he deserves a really fun round and to enjoy himself here. So hoping that he'll have some fun here.
Absolutely, yeah. Whatever he does is a PB for him. And we've seen a few of these athletes coming through for the first time. I think like Hannes van Dyssen is the obvious one that springs to mind in Japan when he did the slab, he did the dolphin diver celebration, and then he got a medal out of that. So really cool to see.
So he's tall as well. I wonder if it would be good for him to try to not bring the foot up like Adam did, or he could hop his left foot all the way up to that higher volume like Yannick. It'll be interesting to see if he changes that around or sticks to the same foot method there.
Yeah, he's got plenty of time. The clock's on the bottom right of your screen, 4 minutes to do each boulder. Yeah, you're right about the feet. He's going really high with it, isn't he? He's had a sort of a season that's built. Hachiochi was 51st, Seoul he was 43rd, and he was 10th in Salt Lake City, so a big step up in performance from him.
Nice, that's looking better for the taller athletes. Maybe just requires a little less movement. You need to coordinate one fewer move, so you have a little more time to be precise there. But you do have to engage from a more spread out position, which is difficult too, so that's an interesting move.
Yeah, a lot going through his head. Keeps the foot low, shakes that left foot out behind him.
Yeah, so you can see when he's spanned out like that from the low foot, he's able to get that hand position, but it's a little harder to engage than it is from up here.
And you can see that's the foot shaking, not the wall.
I think he went for the match there as well.
So much body tension to get in this position. Oh,
wow.
Trying to catch the volume.
Yeah, so he didn't opt for the pogo kick and just straight on the blue. He tried to keep going, which I think could definitely work here.
Let's see this again. He eyed it up. Yeah, almost got kind of caught between two thoughts, I think. Didn't go quite far enough for the final hold. Didn't try to stop, so it will be interesting to see what he does now.
Yeah, we saw Yannick stop just on the blue hold. Adam stopped on the blue hold, but kicked his right foot onto that yellow volume that Gianluca just tried to put his right hand on. It'll be interesting if we see a third method here, or if he opts for one of those methods that we saw work earlier.
Yeah, we know that the zone is not a giveaway. Even when you've got it once, you can still drop it. So he's only got a couple of goes here to get this. He's going to hear the buzzer in a minute.
Staying on that low foot again.
Super
See that
strong.
overhead mobility to engage that zone hold up there.
Right, so he makes the flick around, pinches it. Good camera angle there to show how small that hold is.
Wow.
Oh. I wonder if the route setters even sort of envisaged that as a method, you know? Because it's a nasty fall when you catch it like that because you're so off balance.
Yeah, but he looked very close there. I imagine he could have almost, I wonder if he would almost come back to the blue hold on that swing back in. Does look like a good method, hard.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting. Let's see, he's got 20 seconds. This will have to be the go, really, if he gets it. Locks in the zone hold, bumps out, has a look at the clock as he climbs.
Come
8
on,
seconds.
Gianluca.
Presses, you're right,
Wow.
drop back down, 3, 2,
Heartbreaker. Oh, he's smiling though. It was a fun go at that boulder. Wow.
Seconds away from getting that. He obviously had to rush that last move, but let's see this again. So he made the press work, which is
Came back to the blue.
back to the blue, you said it. But then, okay, so if he's dropping back to the blue, why not just do that initial move like that in the first place? So what does dropping back to the blue do?
Yeah, so when he jumps like that and kind of, the way that he was jumping carried quite a bit of momentum, so it would have been really hard to stop immediately on blue. He was generating a little differently to go into it. So that palm kind of stopped him going right. And then as he stopped himself, his hips went back left, coming back to the blue hold. Definitely tricky to do that way, but I can imagine that probably feels almost natural when he generated the way he did. Mejdi, I imagine, might like this move.
Oh, reads it straight away. I wonder who he read that with. We didn't get to see it. But this match, everyone's doing it. It's horrendous.
Let's see if he jumps off both feet like Gianluca or does the little pogo kick.
He's thinking about crossing
Going
through the
for
feet. This is.
pogo.
Let's see.
Wow.
Well, that was intended, and that was very, very strong from Mejdi. I think
Executed perfectly from Mejdi there.
so good to see him in this kind of form. I mean, you said before we even started, you were like, because I always ask, you were like, I think he might be one of the favourites. And I mean, that performance was incredible. Great.
Yeah, the way that he timed his hip movement, the momentum really carried all of the direction there. So he's obviously very strong, but his hips brought him right where he needed to be, and he just landed perfectly in that end position on the finish.
It was, was he dodging the smoke then? Did he get blasted, or did he have a look at the clock? All right, Yoshiyuki Ogata, he's back in action on Men 1. Up he goes again, launches, and again straight into that hold. I reckon Yoshiyuki and Menchli might have read that together, potentially. They're similar kind of styles.
Yeah, I imagine Yoshiyuki is, he's definitely capable of getting this one done. I think he probably read the method. It's just a matter of staying focused, executing on what he knows.
So he drops down to the side pull. Launch is right.
Kind of opts for a middle method, a little bit in between the two. Looked like he was maybe going to keep going to the finish, and the blue hold was pretty good. He thought he could maybe stop on it. So I think this next go, we'll see him make a decision either to continue straight away to the finish or stop on the blue. We won't see as much of that hesitation in the middle.
So let's have a look at this again. He swung, and yeah, you're right. He was kind of like half swing, tried to grab back on. So Yoshiyuki will have a bit of a moment here. Waiting in this lovely evening. Coming up to 8:15 here in Prague. And if you're just joining us, hello and welcome to the men's finals. My name is Matt Groom. I'm joined by Chloe Koskoy, who is a USA athlete, expert on movement and everything else, and will be in Europe for quite a long time following the circuit.
Yeah, we have a lot of competitions here in Europe, so it's a big summer, but a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
So Yoshiyuki here. Nice.
Caught that left one armor there.
I thought he might choose to go back to the blue one, but he just held that kind of archer position there. Super impressive work from Yoshiyuki. And top in 3 attempts, I believe.
Yeah, 3 attempts. So we now know that this boulder really needs to get done to keep in touch, and that is going to pile the pressure on our next and final athlete, Do-Hyun Lee, who will come out from Korea. Let's watch this. Yoshiyuki dropping down, easy from there, just palms on side, and a match. Got to match that final hold, 2 hands, and actually Menchli scared me just now because he didn't. He celebrated way too early. Do what you want, Menchli, just match that hold, please. Do-Hyun Lee comes out to the smoke. I didn't know there'd be smoke. I'm not sure if I like it or not. I think it's quite cool.
I've done only one comp where we had the smoke as we came out from behind the wall, and I thought it was quite cool.
Yeah.
It made
If I was
it
an
all feel
athlete,
very
I'd want to run
intense.
onto smoke, like if I had a choice, for sure.
I can imagine some might find it distracting as well.
Right, Do-Hyun launches up straight away into that handcuff move you were saying.
He found that position straight away as well.
I really like Do-Hyun Lee putting on chalk because when I was in Korea, I watched Youngwon Chon teach a team of people about his chalking up method. So I know what happens backstage. They've got this whole ritual to what they do, like 3 minutes before there's liquid chalk and they do this whole thing. It's a world I didn't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure if every athlete is that way. I know I am. Like, at 3 minutes, I start to unstrap my shoes. By 2 minutes, my shoes are on. At 1 minute, I do my liquid
No way.
chalk, and then I chalk up and run onto the mat. So
Amazing.
I imagine it's different for everyone, but it's nice to have that routine a little bit. Let's see what he does at the finish here.
Ooh, stops on the blue.
Nice, same method as Adam there.
All right, well, Do-Hyun Lee will get this done as well. So that's 5.
2 attempts from Do-Hyun.
Oh, yeah, true. So that'll be him right at the top of the lead. Well, no, Menchli's flashed it, didn't he? So a flash is worth more than doing it in 2 attempts. Flash is the first go.
We'll end with 5 tops on this boulder. Gianluca just missing out on that heartbreaking finish earlier. Everyone looking very solid tonight.
Yeah, that method was really interesting. Good flexibility. It's harder than it looks like to press that right leg up and then try to go over. Good work from him. And quite steep walls here as well. which I sort of hadn't realized until a route setter pointed it out. But yeah, well, this is another steep boulder. This is on the far right of the wall. Red and yellow holds. Starts into a press at the beginning, then works left into the zone, and then crosses back right to the end hold. And there's the zone. There's the flatty, which is quite nasty in this heat. And that final hold, Chloe, I mean, it looks super physical to me.
Yeah, these two red holds are deceptively slopey. I was taking a look under there on the mats earlier, and I was shocked at how slopey those two red ones were. So this one will be an interesting boulder.
Now, weirdly, Yannick's gone to the wrong boulder here. The crowd are actually pointing out to him where the right boulder is. I think the spotlight was on the wrong boulder, and it might have confused him slightly. But yeah, and he's just pointing out the spotlight was in the wrong place. And now he's on the correct boulder and underway.
All right.
Now, he's using a foothold there with the right hand. That's meant to be stood on later.
Yeah, so those two start tags being on the volume means you can start on anything on the volume there, any hold. So he chose to use those two. Easily moves to the zone.
Yeah, and this is the start of the bad holds that look worse than you thought they did, right?
Yeah. This sequence looked very, very tricky. This red one, I wonder with the heat how Yannick's making it look. Super impressive finish there. Wow.
Yannick, of many climbers, oh, he is going for the top of the wall. Fair play, he made it work. Well, extra points for him. Yannick, of all climbers, when he's looking strong, and I don't know how to describe this eloquently, but he just looks strong. You know, you get some athletes who flow through it. Yannick just powers his way through some stuff.
Yeah, the way he just held that finish hold is really, really, really impressive. That angle is a lot steeper than it looks on camera. That red hold is quite slopey, both the left and the right. We see him lose the left hand. So much power in the right arm there.
Yeah, like a one-arm lock-off like that's hard enough on a jug, but he's pinching a sloper, basically, to hold that. It's crazy. All right, well, the sun is starting to dip below the tree line behind us. There's golden hour out on stage, and Adam Ondra is on, which is pretty apt, I think.
He's choosing to start just on that undercling hold. This jump not looking too crazy so far. The top of this boulder, I think, is really where it'll all come to play out.
Yeah, we saw Yannick really fighting his way through this final move. Adam's on the slopers. Yeah, and that makes you realize how powerful Yannick's end was to that boulder.
Yeah, Adam just started to lose it, decided to go for a double there to bring the left hand in. Yannick looked a little more engaged and really decisive to go kind of right arm locked off. So I wonder if we'll see that, or Adam lost the foot there, it looks like. That definitely cost him on that move.
His left toe is really far over to the left of that. I wonder if he needs to work it a little further across to get it in, but maybe he's taller so it works for him. Yeah, you can see the big old foot pop he had.
Yeah, being taller myself as well, I know it's difficult sometimes to decide whether or not to jump and really jump decisively and lock your arm, or to try and span something, but then you might lose the foot, or you end up kind of jumping, but not as decisively. It's a hard balance when you might be able to keep the foot, you're not sure.
Don't make it sound like it's bad being tall, Chloe. Like, as a shorter climber, I definitely have the disadvantage. All right, so Adam goes again, pressing up.
I think we'll see him either really decisively jump for the finish here or keep that right foot on, I think.
So that's a slope. That makes it look like a ledge from that angle. It's not very slopey.
It is not. Oh, the right foot again.
So a bit of frustration there for Adam, and he takes a deep breath to calm himself down.
Yeah, both of these red holds really, really difficult to hold on to. The wall is much steeper than it looks here from this angle.
Yeah, watch that right foot. Let's see what happens, because he set himself up for it.
Just at the last second as he pulls over, the right foot picks. Whereas Yannick really just jumped straight up off that foot, so it'll be interesting to see if Adam continues to try and stay on that foot or if he really just jumps for the finish.
Yeah, because the first time you could be like, well, it's a foot pop, I'll try it again. Second time, you've got to start thinking like there might be something not quite right with your method.
Yeah.
Adam takes a big old breath as the minute marker comes up. Easily into the start holds.
No problem on that move.
Now watch the right foot. Will he do something differently? He's going to be a bit more dynamic, and this time it's easy for Adam. 50 seconds to go, and he keeps the top fest going here.
Incredible. Really decisive to that finish hold. He was not dropping it that time.
Absolutely not. Iron grip there on that final hold. Now this is going to be stacking the pressure on for those coming afterwards. The athletes do get to see the score between boulders, so they'll know round about where they are standing, and they'll hear the crowd during the boulder itself, so they'll know how many tops are being done. So for the rest of them, it's going to be stressful. This was the final move. Yeah, he just a bit more dynamic with it.
Yeah, really engaging that right arm.
All right, Jan-Luca Bosch, he came so close to that first boulder. And I know it's his first comp, but he would love to go away with the top here. Not first comp, first finals, I should say. Well, he's currently on for the flash, a swing and a kick. Ooh, matches the flatty sideball thing.
He's got those fingers taped. That's going to make this red hold a little bit trickier to hold on to. You really want all the friction you can get there. Opting not to use the right foot right now. There we go.
Has he got a heel in? He has got a heel in underneath, so deciding a left heel. It looks so much like a toe. He nearly lost it. And eventually just that little slip, I think, cost him in balance.
Yeah. It'll be interesting with him as well if he goes more decisively to the finish or keeps that foot. He's quite tall as well.
Well, he sits down, and people wondering what thing on his knee is. It's just protection against some kind of an injury. It's not a knee pad that you sometimes see being used outdoors. It's against the rules. You can't use it in a comp. And I was thinking about this. I was wondering if it would give you an advantage or disadvantage. And then I remembered trousers exist. I was instantly like, don't be an idiot, Matt. Because obviously if you're wearing trousers, it's a similar thing, you know, material on the wall. So.
Yeah, in general, I'd say probably the knee is, just a bare knee is the stickiest you'll get with the knee bar, but you don't get so many attempts and can't be bleeding over the hold, so
you can't.
It's a tricky one, but a lot of the athletes choose to compete in shorts. It's just so warm out here.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how destroyed the athletes get after every competition. Like, battered and bruised. You guys go through it to get this far. It's physical.
Yeah, covered in bruises myself in here right now.
Yeah, it's a tough sport. You've got to be strong, and like, try hard is something that really exists for pro athletes, like giving it everything. And if you give it everything, sort of your physical perseverance goes out the window a little bit, which is a good thing.
He's getting that foot right back on the first swing this time. Looked much easier. See if he does that heel again. That looked like a really nice method. He was able to control the red hold really well that way.
He has got that heel locked in. Look at that.
Nice.
You have got to release it though, which he then does, using the blue volume to push down on. No! So still waiting for his first finals top. Minute 15 to go.
He's just going a little spanned out to that finish hold. Like if he could just reel it in just a touch, he'll hold it for sure. Let's see here.
Yeah, I want him to open his account here, just for his own self. Look at that, it's about as close as you can come.
Yeah, really tricky finish position. We've seen a lot of people, or everyone, get their hand on it, but if your hips are swinging out of the way, it's really, really difficult to hold that finish. 30 seconds left. See if he can make something happen.
All right, it's all or nothing now. Misses the zone. He might get a chance. No, he's done. All right, Jan. Well,
2 more boulders to go. Save some energy for those.
yeah, he is looking at his skin, and as you said, they're taped up already. That might not have helped, that red sloper. It's good as he walks off, actually, we get to see the other boulders. M3 there is the slab we're chatting about, with some very sparkly holes. That's all I'm saying for the time being. All right, there he is. Early flashed the first boulder. Fatigue isn't going to be an issue. Super chilled as he just re-looks at the boulder. Yannick, the only one opting to use that foothold as a handhold.
Everyone managing to get through this to this zone quite quickly in their first tries.
All right, Mesh's on the sloper. Matches toe, left toe locked underneath, right foot in. Oh, huge helicopter.
Wow.
Horizontal there on the wall. I mean, when an athlete is on form like that, what do you say? It's like you just have to sit back and enjoy the performance, and that's what I feel like I'm doing every time I see him at the moment.
Incredible, holding that, just that right arm. The left arm just barely leaves that red hold. Similar to Yannick, the way he held that finish, just so much strength in that right arm.
Yeah, watch this again.
Super
Look
impressive.
at his legs. Look how far they go over it. So he pops, swings. I mean, if Yanya's got a Yanya flick, that's got to be a Mejdi something. Send your suggestions, please. Because he very deliberately did that, and I didn't realize, but in that slow motion, you could see him sort of almost think about holding that momentum. Such good awareness of movement.
Yoshiyuki will know that this boulder's been topped a few times, looking to match their performances.
Yeah, we've seen 2 flashes, Yannick and Mejdi. Kicks back in. Very confident so far. And a right toe, and then left to get established. Then he brings the right up, and he's looking for the jump.
If he can release that left toe.
Oh.
Wow.
Similar to Mejdi, but a little more controlled.
Yeah, I think he might have looked the most comfortable on that finish of anyone we've seen so far. So much strength in the right arm, the right hand. It was very impressive. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that move.
Yeah, here it comes. So he had the right foot perfectly. Similar to Mejdi in terms of where his foot ended up. But yeah, just looked a little more controlled. Doesn't matter how you do it though, it's a flash, and a flash is a flash. And Do Hyun Lee will need to pull something out of the bag here. Needs a top. We are storming through this final. He's just trying to work out the start. That won't count as an attempt.
A lot of tops so far, but we've had good separation on attempts.
Swings out, kicks the foot in. Almost pinches that side pull. And he's straight down to the right foot and hasn't got a toe in, which is interesting. He's just got it up high on the blue sloper. There you can see it. Now drops the toe under. Not using the pinch.
Doesn't even use the foot, really. Just holds that right arm. No thumb catch.
Good work from him, so he will leave.
Very decisive finish there from Do-yoon.
Yeah, let's watch this again. Just ignored the thumb entirely. So he got set up, eventually dropped the toe in to get a bit lower and a bit further across. Flung himself up, just didn't even really think about it. There was a moment where the thumb seemed to drop down, but he committed to it. Back to the mats, did what he had to do there with a quick flash. All right, well, halfway point. And I'll have a look at the scoreboard in a sec. But 2 boulders done, 2 to go. And the sun, as I said, starting to set as our stage will drop into shade. All right, so Chloe, what are you thinking so far of this round?
Yeah, these boulders have been really exciting so far. We're seeing a lot of dynamic moves, a lot of really difficult holds, but everyone is making them look a lot better than they are. This slab will test definitely something different from these last 2 boulders. The athletes will have to be pretty relaxed and stay confident on their feet and very precise because the footholds are quite small on this 3rd boulder. I think we have another little dynamic move at the finish, but it'll probably be pretty slow. Yeah, very decisive. Confidence on the feet, I think, will be big for this one.
Absolutely, and you said about the attempts, it's so interesting to look at that scoreboard. 2 tops and 2 zones for everyone in the top 5, and attempts separating it. And Mejdi with just 2 attempts compared to Ondra's 9. And it's funny how that very rarely plays a part, you know, like this. So it's a fascinating scoreboard to look at.
These next 2 boulders will be very, very important for this scoreboard. So excited to see if those separate differently.
So Yoshiyuki in 3rd, still in touch. Doyeon Lee 2nd place, and Mejdi currently in provisional gold medal position. Yannick Fleury, Adam Ondra, and Jan-Luca Posch in his first ever finals. Well, we're just building up, and the slab Chloe was talking about is on the left of your stage. Your screen. And then the final boulder in the middle. Well, if you're just joining us, welcome to Prague in the Czech Republic. The first time we've seen an IFSC competition, and this man here qualified in 1st position, Do-hyun Lee. And what a final move this was. Slapping up, ignoring the thumb catch you can see on the final hold. It took a while to get himself into the correct position, make sure everything was perfect, and then the launch. All right, Chloe, talk us through this one. And look at that sparkly gold hold in the middle. I love it.
Yeah, this one pretty different from what we've seen so far. You've got 2 presses to start. The athletes will have to get stood up in there. We have a couple hand holds, that zone. They're quite small, so it's going to really come down to the feet. They're not going to be making too much use of that zone. We see that sparkly thing is like a dual tex plate to kind of just add some dimension to that volume so they could stick a foothold on there. But I don't think we'll really see athletes kind of looking to put their feet on that dual tex portion, although they do have some edges around them.
Yeah, it's been uber blocked, this boulder, by the setters. They don't want them crimping the top of the triangles. And in fact, the first triangle you can see there just above his head, that green blocker is dual text as well, so no text, I suppose, which is just another reason to not try to crimp it. And it's kind of pressy start, which you don't see too often, but has to lock those arms down.
Yeah, both blocks like that and bringing the foot up will be quite hard if your palms move ever so slightly on those 2 start holds. You're generally off of that start position, so we'll want to stay as still as possible in the hands and get that foot up.
Yeah, he couldn't find that foot. It's fairly blind around the corner.
Yeah, I imagine the athletes will get their foot up on this black one first, kind of look to stand up there, and then start to use those smaller green feet that we see off to the right. But very tricky start position.
It's going to be, considering where we are in terms of attempts so far, this boulder could be fascinating because it's one of, slabs always takes a while to learn, but whoever can learn this fastest is going to be at such an advantage. And we saw Yannick fall off twice before even pulling on, so attempts racking up for him.
Yeah, I've generally found this type of moves, sometimes on one attempt it'll feel really good and your hands will feel great and you can get your foot up, maybe like we're seeing Yannick do right now, and then sometimes it'll feel nearly impossible to establish in that double palm press position. So really intricate body positioning there. not only to get your hands to stay, but then to be able to bend and move in order to get the feet up as well.
See, you see he hit his knee on the way down there. No blood, so that's good. That works that foot up, trying to get some rubber, and you can see it slipping.
It's always tricky to decide how much room do I leave for my hand. If I kind of take some away from the hand and leave more room to get the foot up later, I might not be able to start. Whereas if I take lots of room with the hand, then I don't have room to bring the foot up. So you might see him shuffle his hand or just look for a little bit of space for that foot on the right there.
Yeah, he's getting this move more consistently. But this...
Yeah, I see him move his hand there to get his foot in a better position.
Better
that looked like the best attempt so far.
Problem is we spent a long time on this first move, and there's a lot of boulder left to go, including, as you said, a sort of dynamic-y end to this thing. So
I wonder if he might be switching into softer shoes here. Oh no, just
sitting in the sun.
Yeah, sitting. Looked like he was.
Look at that. That's an aesthetically beautiful shot, isn't it? The sun finally dropping beneath the trees, and the audience are enjoying being on the big screen. And it's good. Like, I like having new venues come in like this, especially when they do it like this with this kind of atmosphere. It's an exciting place to watch a competition.
Absolutely. This crowd has been great, and it's absolutely packed in here right now.
Yeah, stacked. Standing room literally only. In fact, they're stacked behind our commentary box. There's that many people. And Yannick is really resting. I mean, he's only got 40 seconds left. He's casually brushing it.
Yeah, it looks like he'll probably just give another attempt to try and get the zone. Maybe won't have time for the full boulder here.
Yeah, it's quite strange, this. I mean, he's got 22 seconds left. He's brushing all of the holds.
Yeah, very bizarre.
Maybe he's just preparing. I think he genuinely might be preparing it for the next athlete.
Here. Interesting.
Yeah, he is running out the clock. Well, for whatever reason, Yannick has decided that's a no-go, and he's just been kind of preparing it for the next athletes.
All right.
Well, fair enough, Yannick. He will leave the stage.
Getting the boulder ready for Ondra.
Well, maybe that's why, yeah, maybe he knew.
Pressure's coming in behind him, making sure there's no chalk on those holds.
I don't think I've ever seen that in a boulder competition. I quite liked it, to be honest. Why not? Well, Ondra will be out next. There he is, and he'll do the walk, and I think he'll enjoy this walk from right to left. As he walks across, make sure his shoes are clean. And sand has actually been quite a problem on this map because it's very sandy around here, and it's so easy to pick it up and take it on with you. And sand in your shoes is the last thing you want out there.
Definitely don't want sand in your shoes for these slab boulders.
Here goes Adam.
You want to jump into that start position. There we go. And no problem for Adam getting the foot up. I think we'll see him go turn that right knee, get that left foot up. Oh, not even. Stayed nice and square.
He tried to go
Straight
for the crimp on the no text, realized it was no text, and sort of thought better of it. His zone hold is minute. Look at that.
Yeah, so I think that's more acting like almost just a marker on the wall, say we got the zone, but it's really coming down to the feet here. But he is making some use of that zone there.
I asked this of the route setters, and I was like, do you need it? Is it just there? And they were like, no, it's helpful. It's like to press in like that.
Yeah, sometimes all you need is just that tiny extra bit. Lining up for the finish here. Oh, just barely missing that top hold. It is quite good, so if he gets his hand on that finish hold, I imagine he'll hold it. Barely missing it there, but impressive beginning sequence from Adam.
It just shows the difference that different athletes can make on a boulder. You know, and it's nothing to do with quality. Sometimes it's style, sometimes it's anything. But, you know, the fact that Yannick could not get stood up and then Adam just comes and does it, like, you think it was a different competition, but there are just some boulders that work for you and some that don't.
Yeah, especially a move like this where you have to get the foot up right away. For some people, maybe more flexible in certain positions, it's just much more doable for some than others. But there's generally a way to work it out regardless. Let's see here. Yeah, no problem to get the foot up and immediately is kind of able to stand through it.
He really wants to crimp the edge of that volume.
Yeah.
And the root setters really didn't want him to.
No. He'll want to get his foot a little higher on the black one there. Looked a little
Palms
strange.
down, fingers towards the mat.
There we go. His foot's really solid on that black one now. He's moving straight up. Nice.
All right, so minute 43. You'd back him on this. He's got to keep it together, though.
He's looking very composed.
You can tell that that zone hold used to be a foot hold because of the amount of rubber on it, so that's how small it is. Crimps the edge, brings the left foot through. And locks it off, gets it, and yeah.
Crowd going crazy for that one.
Yeah, Adam is staying up there as long as possible, and why not? I'm looking out right now, and there is you can see them, a sea of hands just in the air clapping. I don't think they'd care if he came dead last. It'd be the same reaction. You know, they love that man.
Explosion of cheering from the crowd there. He was not letting go of that finish.
The Czech commentator team next to us, who's in the same box, were just banging on the floor there in celebration. I feel like the neutral voice in amongst all of this, but it's really exciting. All right, Jan-Luca Posch runs onto the stage for the slab. Has yet to get a top in his first Boulder final, and I really want him to here. We know he had bad finger skin, not so important on this one.
Yeah, I would say really probably not important on this one. You're not doing too much grabbing. It's a lot in the feet, in the body position. Let's see. He's getting stood up there, very nice. Looked a little more strenuous than the way Adam did it.
Just the edge
Makes
of
it
the
work
shoe.
regardless.
You can see the mark the edge has left there down by his left foot. He had to put so much into it and tried to crimp the zone hold. The screw is almost bigger than the zone hold. Almost.
Yeah, I'm sure it's difficult. I think in the end you really want to be stood up on the black, that right black one, as if there's no hold there, and you just use the hold to kind of help you stay into the wall, but the moment you go to really grab it, it kind of sets off your balance on the foot. Tricky balance between pressure in the foot and grabbing the hand, as slabs so often are.
All right, so he goes again. Made this look pretty difficult the first time. Is he going to do a similar method? He can't get that. He's very tall to squeeze into that kind of a box that he's trying to get into.
Yeah, it looked like he was getting his right heel up on the black hold that time. I know Adam did get the front of his foot on it. I think it makes it a little bit easier to stand up. So I'm interested to see if he switches to a toe. I can't remember on the first try if he got his toe or his heel on there. Maybe shifts to a toe. Oh.
Yeah, whatever he's doing is different from that first attempt. Doesn't look as comfortable.
Adam quite tall as well though, and figured out how to make it work. So I think it'll just be in that body position. He'll have to mess around with it a little bit.
And he's got the time to do it. We're starting to see a little bit more separation here. Yannick failing to do this boulder. Adam getting it done. Now Jan-Luca, again, difficulties on the first couple of moves.
There we go. Getting the front of his foot on there, it'll make it easier to stand up. Oh, foot slip there.
You can see the fingerprints left behind by Adam Ondra on that blocker hold. And Jan gave it a good look, but decided not to use it. Really making sure that holds as clean as possible.
In general, when we see those holds kind of stacked up into the corner of the volume like that, we know that's meant to kind of push you away from grabbing the edge or looking for screw holes there, and really use whatever holds the setters have put for you to climb on. Kind of see off to the right as well, they've kind of done the same thing to stop you from crimping the seams there.
It's interesting because it's a bit like a code, you know, between you and them. It's like there's you know, like outdoor climbing, we have tick marks. It's a bit like that, except with holds, you know, just to give you hints, push you in a certain direction.
Yeah, rather than telling you to grab this as a tick might do, it's like, no, don't mess with this part of the volume. Stay on those holds that we set for you lower.
Yeah, M4 has, or had, can't really see it from here, but had a giant palm print on the hold that you got to palm down on. It was like, you know, they could have had a neon sign being like palm here, you know.
It's helpful to see the chalk marks. It kind of gives you an idea, especially with a tricky sequence. You see chalk, sometimes foot rubber. You're like, okay, this is where the feet need to be, the hands, etc.
Well, that was no top for Jan-Luca.
Yeah, struggling to get back into that stand-up position like he did on his first attempt. See what Mejdi makes of this boulder.
He's trying to get that flexibility going. He knows he's going to have to do some weird shapes. This is, by the way, the first time that there's been a Boulder Male World Cup with 6 different nations in it since Munich 2019, which is just shows the dominance of certain federations and nationalities. Actually can't make that work. Rushes back, grabs the brush.
And he'll look to get his right foot up a little higher on this black one. A little more comfortable as he stands up.
Well, the sun is now totally gone, so that shaft of light we saw on the stage has disappeared as we come up to 10 to 9 here. Mejdi's having similar kind of issues from Yannick, which keeps losing that right foot. Sitting in second. It's unstoppable on the first 2 physical boulders. Right foot. He's trying to crimp the edge.
There you see how shallow that black hold is for your foot. Looking better here, he's staying relaxed. Very nice.
Oh, the trust you have to have in your feet to do that. Right, we stood up. We've seen Jan-Luca drop this move into the zone, and Mejdi isn't looking that comfortable yet. Concentration as he looks down at his feet into the zone hold.
There you see how small that is. Just using it to move your hips a little bit, maybe help with the balance, but you're really not getting too much out of that zone. Oh.
Foot bubble. You can now see why they've stacked that the sparkly hold like that, because doing it like Mejdi's doing, you need a lot of precision to unwind and hit the right point of that stacked green volume.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they stacked them up just to the angle they wanted it and then put that foothold on there.
Well, that's
that
the
next foot's quite good, but this bit looks hard to unwind out of. You see that where his left foot is?
It's hard to tell, isn't it?
It is. They're all crossed. It's quite bad. And it's blocked, making it even harder. Just from above, you'll just have to feel where your foot is rather than be able to see which part of your toe is there. Which is a little trick to make things harder.
Whichever foot it was that popped, it was the black volume when it went on, not the green hold.
He's not loving this black volume, it looks like. Making it work. He knows what to do. Was up there earlier.
He stood up now, a little pop into the zone, confident stuff. And now he's trying to work the feet. He's doing the same method, so he's crossing under.
Yeah. You see him just feeling around. Can't quite see the hold, most likely. Oh, another foot slip. He'll be frustrated with that. We'll see if he can keep his composure, give another good attempt.
Well, this
he has time.
This could be very important to this comp, because Adam Ondra is sitting on the top spot.
Yeah, Mejdi had really low attempts up to this point, which looked quite good, but in a round like this where we are getting Adam with 3 tops, he's gonna want to stay in the running.
He is, he's only got 12 seconds. He's gonna have to go for this last chance. The unwind this time. Oh, he misses the right foot as he drops into it. Right, now this is the moment where we have to see his championship mentality, because he now needs to go back into that area, forget about that boulder, and move on. It's going to be a big ask for him. But plenty of climbing yet to come as we see some more replays of that volume that so many times he slipped on.
That speaks to Adam's slab climbing there as well. We know Mejdi is a very solid slab climber. I think he's done, I believe, the majority of the slabs that we've seen this year in World Cups. And for Adam to just walk through that section, very impressive.
All right, Yoshiki Ogata is on. Penultimate athlete joining us for M3. Just a reminder of the schedule. Tomorrow, women's semi, I forgot what gender we were even on there. Women's semi-final tomorrow afternoon, around about 12 p.m. And then in the evening, 7 p.m. Central European time is the women's finals. Very much looking forward to that as Janja returns to competition climbing, but a lot of other athletes are going for gold, so she's going to have a tough task. But meanwhile, Yoshiyuki gets stood up.
Looking really comfortable on that stand-up.
Pinching that zone hold.
Really nice from Yoshiyuki right now. He's very confident on that black foot. He's opting to stand on the inside of his toe, kind of turning his foot fully the opposite way from how Mejdi did, which looks like it might stick better this way. It does depend if you like to have your hips more open like that.
Yeah, it's quite blind doing that way. Like, he had to flick his head quite deliberately over, which he did do by the end of it, but yeah. But a good, confident start. It seems to be one of that first move. You either do or you can't. You not can't, but you struggle with, or you make it work quite quickly. Because this is where his head was facing the wrong way. So I had to get the left hand engaged and then last minute snap that head around to try to spot the foothold, and he was on it. Here he goes again. Provisional third place at the moment. Not in the right position for that palm move.
Yeah, those palm moves are tricky. I know sometimes it'll feel really easy. You just get the palm position right and your chest stays into the wall. You can move your foot up, and other times you feel like you're sliding straight out from the wall. So hopefully it makes it work here. Yeah, it looked like he's just fumbling out, managed to get his foot up. Oh, but rushed that movement there.
Yeah, so he's unsending this a little bit at the moment. And he hasn't unlocked that middle move, so it's going to be a big ask with 1:28 to go. Doesn't really climb like a slab, this. I mean, I know it is a slab, but it just feels different.
Yeah, this first bit, very tricep intensive for sure. The high feet.
All right, Yoshiki into the press. A bit better this time. There's the minute. Left foot on, looking way more solid.
Yeah, he's back in that upper position now.
Creeps into the zone. And this is the move he struggled on. He's doing it slightly differently. He's now looking at the foot. Now flicks back towards the hand.
Putting his left big toe on that one as opposed to the outside of his foot. Kind of lets him go to this one more slowly.
I guess the advantage of that no-tex is you can literally slide into the correct position down there. It's not bobbling your foot off.
Oh.
Way off that last move, and I think that will be it with 15 seconds. It's not going to be enough time. Well, this is becoming very interesting. And you can see bump, 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 and then a slide down at the end. It looked less dramatic there from that angle, but
it looked like he lacked just a little bit of decision-making for this finish, if you wanted to go slow or fast. Yeah, you could see his hips were quite far out from the wall once he decided to paddle through that move. He'll be kicking himself for that one a little bit.
There's a lot of soul-searching going on behind that wall right now. Do-Hyun Lee runs out. He's still in touch at the moment. had the brush, decided it was brushed enough.
Doyen definitely capable of doing this, Boulder. We'll see how he fares with this start sequence. Nice. Yeah, looking very good there. His right foot is on there super solidly. Doesn't look like it'll slip.
Gets stood up nicely. Bumps into the zone.
He's choosing to step behind. Yeah, no one has done it like that.
Yeah, Chris is in now.
And just looking for that foothold there under that blocked bit. He can't see it, so you have to just feel around for it with your left toe. There we go. Looks pretty good there.
Look how slowly he had to release the right, and he gets it.
Barely gets his foot on there.
This is to keep in touch with Adam.
Nice. He has really low attempts right now, so if he can get this done here, that will put him in a great spot. But we know this finish is tricky.
The hand there popped off, and it sent him off balance for a second, but he recovered.
Wow.
Strong for Doyen Lee. I don't think he can quite believe that. Awesome from him, and yeah. Well, it's going to come down to the final climb, which is excellent. That puts him up above Adam into first position at the moment. And with 3 tops, it's his and Adam's to lose at this moment. But
He
of
looks
course,
like he's trying not to get too excited. Wants to really stay focused.
let's see this again. So he got the position. He had a hand pop that slightly unsettled him. I think it's coming up, in fact. He's got his finger on it. Gradually brings the knee in. Slowly, slowly gets past your own knee. Watch that hand. That was the slip.
Ooh. He was able to really stay in the feet there. I know a lot of people would have slipped out from that.
Kept laser focused on that green hold. One hand, 2 hand through. Blind, really, from around the corner there. But knew it was there. And a massive reaction for Doyen Lee. So he keeps in touch with Adam Ondra as we come into the last boulder of the evening. All right, let's have a look at the scores. Doyen Lee in first place due to attempts and a lot less than Mr. Adam Ondra, who is sitting in silver position. 3 tops, but look at the attempts. That's what counts. Mejdi blinks, drops the top. Only a zone for him. So he's playing catch-up at the moment. Yoshiyuki Ogata, again, only a zone. And then Yannick Floey just couldn't make that first move work. And Jan Luca Posch came close. But sadly, no zone for him either. So that's how things stand. Chloe, this is a nail-biter of a finish here this evening.
Yeah, it looks like it'll really come down to this last boulder. Mejdi could still win. Yoshiyuki could still win, I believe. So it's really depending who's getting the zone on this one. Hopefully we'll see some tops. So there's a lot at play here, but Doyun and Adam definitely in the lead and looking very solid and focused.
Yeah, and this is the boulder they have to face. Nasty, slopey top, a few toes along the way, and a big palm press. You can see the big white patch of chalk in the middle of that somewhere, and it's hard to pick up on camera, but there's a giant handprint to just hint at the athletes subtly where to go.
Yeah, this one very physical, so we'll see who's got some gas left in the tank.
All right, here goes Yannick. Pulling on, touching anywhere. Drops down to start the swing, hips moving.
Wow.
Straight in, of course we say it's anyone's, but oh, huge jump up to the final hold. And there is a knee bar in here potentially, but he chooses...
Very decisive finish from Yannick.
Well, we keep saying it's between Adam and Doyen. That obviously, if they top it, I mean, there's a potential for them not to top it, and then it will come down to attempts or not to get a zone. So, you know, anything can still happen.
Yeah, I think Yannick made that first move look very easy, and I really don't think that everyone will have the same feeling there. That was very impressive. He didn't even really use that black toe very much. I imagined that you were going to need it to stick the zone, but he did not.
Big leap. That's where there could be a knee bar, but he opted for the toe. Easy top. And when Yannick has a boulder that's in his style, when he's feeling good, he just looks brilliant on it. All right, well, here we go. Adam's to lose at this point, and then Do-Hyun's to lose later on, but right now the focus is on this man. 4 minutes. Can you imagine what this crowd's going to do if he wins a gold on his first return to bouldering of the year?
There are a lot of cameras and phones up in the crowd there. People are very excited to see what Adam does here. Opt in for, wow.
Well, Adam statics the dyno once more. Into the zone.
Imagine you might see a top here. Adam Ondra.
Just needs the match though. He easily does it with low feet, and he's put the ball firmly in Do-Hyun Lee's court, and he knows what that means. The crowd go crazy, the lights flash on stage, and Adam will take a long time in front of this crowd as the sun sets to enjoy this. He still wants them, he's amping them up.
Adam Ondra will be on the podium here in Prague. Will it be first or second? We have yet to see. Only Do-Hyun can take him now.
Awesome from Adam. Well, he will get to watch. And let's see this again. Like, I know he's a tall man, but that's huge amounts of power to get into that position.
Huge amounts of power and confidence as well. You know, I think looking at that boulder, you know that's probably not what the route setters intended. So to trust your instinct and know your strengths and go for that is a true show of experience there.
A little bump with the hands makes the match. And now Jan-Luca Posch's turn on the final climb. Right, come on. I really want him to get this. Oh, no relation to the podium, but just because it's cool.
He would love to see a top here. Oh. I imagine the route setters didn't think of that one, but maybe they did. Wow, 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 no problem there.
Yeah, I think it turns out to be a fairly easy-ish boulder. He's got the knee in. All right, so Jan-Luca joins his teammates over on the left. Let's watch that again. He used the heel hook into the zone.
I'm curious as to whether him and Adam read that heel together or if they both came to that on their own. But it looks like a really good method, especially for the taller guys. Able to just go straight up into the shoulder, almost ignoring that toe hook outright.
Mejdi comes out. He will be disappointed not to have got that slab. He wanted to add another gold.
I believe he'll be on the podium if he does this one quickly. He'll definitely be looking for that here.
All right, let's see. Will he find the heel? Well, he does find the heel.
Wow.
Sets himself up, swinging on that heel and into the zone.
Yeah, I wonder if they all read that together. All saw that. Wow.
Well, infinitely toppable, gets the knee in. Maybe undercooked a bit this final climb, but it doesn't matter. At least they all have the same problem to deal with. So
that'll be 3 Boulder World Cups and 3 podiums for Mejdi. So super impressive.
He gets to sit in the deck chairs there and chill out on the stage. There's a pillow on those chairs. I'm jealous. Right, this is Mejdi's repeat of his top. Easy in. Took a while to get set up and then just launched into this move, making it look like a jug.
No problem for Mejdi, or really any of the athletes on that last move there. Everyone looking super solid.
All right, Yoshiyuki Ogata comes out. Look at that, 76 participations. Remember, defending champion from last year. Seems like every week we get a different Japanese athlete crushing in the finals. Tomoa Narasaki, of course, took the win in Salt Lake City. And congratulations again to Tomoa for being a new dad. His teammate now rocks out.
Wow. So much strength in the right shoulder to hold it that way.
And holds it. Another flash, another knee bar. Well, backstage right now, Do-Hyun Lee will be trying to calm himself down because it's all up to him now.
Yeah, I imagine he's feeling excited. He knows this boulder is doable. but also a little nervous. He can't mess this one up if he wants to take that gold home. So I'm sure a lot of emotions. He just needs to stay calm, relaxed, do what he knows how to do.
Yeah, Adam has a lot more attempts to his name.
Yeah, I believe maybe 4 or 5 attempts more than Do-yoon at this point.
Well,
so.
Adam's on 13 attempts, according to what I'm looking at. Do-yoon Lee's on 4. So, yeah, he's got lots of time to get this done.
So you'd imagine if he tops this, he will take the gold here.
If he does it, he will be the second male Korean ever to win a Boulder World Cup after Yongwon Chum. So big shoes he could be about to fill here.
It would be a first win for him as well.
All right, left hand up. He will take his time. He knows he's got the attempts in the bag. Starts this swing.
He's going for the jump. I think this is going to be the harder method, but he's certainly capable of doing it.
Oh, he's thinking differently. Changes maybe. It does change to the heel.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Do-yoon. Wow.
Well, this is it. No one's dropped this move so far. Is this going to be a gold medal for the young man? Let's see. Big jump out. He does hold it. Gets the toe in. Awesome from him. And yeah, we could see a scream in a minute as he walks to the front of the stage. Yeah, there it is.
I'm not sure if it's sunk in yet. First World Cup win for Do-yoon.
Awesome.
Super dialed, impressive climbing.
Well, he's been coming for a long time. He's been brought up under Jongwon's stewardship, perhaps. And now he's standing on the top spot of the World Cup podium. Mejdi as well, and Adam Ondra, silver medal on his return. Well, anyone who doubted Mr. Adam Ondra, put those doubts away, because he is back with a bang. And we'll just watch once again as Do-hyun changed his beater halfway through this move, got to the zone, and no one dropped this final move. Got himself set up, left foot on a smear, big jump. And the celebration for him came later on when he was at the front of the stage and he all sunk in and he realized what had happened. Awesome. Well, Chloe, I know you've got to go down and interview Do-hyun Lee, so best of luck with that. I guess I'll say goodbye.
Yeah, thank you so much, Matt. It was great being in the booth and very exciting final.
It really
here
was.
In Prague.
Best of luck for the rest of the season. Good luck with the road trip, and I'll see you very soon.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, Adam Ondra runs on in celebration. Silver medal for him. Good work. Bumps over to the right. And then joining him will be Do-hyun Lee as he waits to be announced by the MC. Really cool. And Adam Ondra and Mejdi celebrate with him. And the podium will come in a minute. Interviews first. So for the time being, they go down to the left, and I know Chloe is working her way around to the stage where she will interview the winner. Well, let's check the results one more last time. It was a high topping round, 4 tops out of 4 for the top 2. Do-hyun Lee beating Adam due to attempts, and a big difference in attempts. 13 for Adam Ondra, just 5 for Do-hyun Lee. Mejdi missed the slab. He will be kicking himself for that, but he's got enough medals already. And then 4th place, Yoshiyuki. And then Yannick Floe and Jan-Luca Posch after that. So we'll have a couple of minutes here. Adam Ondra's doing something in the crowd, just to let you know. I know you can't see this right now, but he's doing something because he ran over to the right of the stage. I'm trying to have a look as well what's going on because the whole audience has like shifted. And he's underneath the scoreboard right now. Oh, I think he's with his new kid. So yeah, he's a dad as well, of course, and runs a pretty big YouTube channel, so he has a lot on his mind. And I think he is with his baby down there at the front. Yeah, celebrating with his wife. The spotlight still lighting the stage here, and the audience attention over to the right. And I can actually see Chloe down on the right-hand stage. You can just see her in the USA white uniform, waiting for the interviews. And if you've been enjoying us, please join us tomorrow for the semi-final and final for the women. Well, I can see a light, I can see a cameraman, I can see Chloe, and she's holding a microphone. All good news for our interviews. Let's have a look at how Do-Hyun Lee did it, shall we? Because a lot of pressure on his shoulders as he came into the final climb, so we're going to see a replay of that in a sec. So he took his time, he knew he had attempts in the bag, and he started off with a different method, trying to do the Yannick Flowy ridiculous jump up into a shoulder press maneuver. Changed his mind, so this is the swing. He started going back and forth, thought better of it, adjusted the hands at the last second before leaping, then got the heel in, and from then onwards it was just a victory lap really, into the zone, pressing hard, matched it, and from then on we knew this move was very doable, and he didn't really hesitate. Sorted the feet out, flicked himself upwards, right toe under. Good work from Do-Hyun Lee. And that was it. And then no real celebration at that moment, but later on, oh, it all came out. There is Adam Ondra's child. Really cool. It's a family thing climbing now, isn't it? I actually asked him during the qualifying highlights, you can watch that on YouTube, what it was like juggling. I don't think it made the cut actually, but I asked him what it was like juggling, having a new child, having a YouTube channel, having all the pressures that Adam Ondra does, and he just sort of shrugged and just said, you know, you deal with it, you do what you do, and that's it, isn't it? Of course, prolific outdoor climber as well. First climber to climb 9C Sport outside. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, just Google Silence Adam Ondra and you'll find out. Pretty good climbing movie, that one. Well, Chloe's waiting, bathed in the lights now. So I think we'll be going down to an interview very soon. If you're just joining us, welcome to the end of our men's boulder final. Couple of things to go. We've got the podium and the interview. Chloe Koskoy, my co-commentator, is down on the front of the stage, and there is Do-Hyun Lee lit up, so we'll be hearing from him in a couple of seconds as he makes his way into that sun-like spotlight that's on the stage. Crowd waiting patiently for the podiums here in Prague. Do-Hyun getting a huge clap for the audience. Appreciation for that man and his skills down on the mats. Almost ready. And the podium will actually be on the second wall. There are two walls available to the setters here, but they switch to the one on the right for this. All right, let's go down to Chloe on the stage and hear from Do-Hyun Lee.
Do-Hyun, this is your first World Cup win. Congratulations. How do you feel?
I can't believe now. So I'm just happy now. Yeah.
There are so many people in the crowd here. What was it like to compete in front of everybody?
Thank you for cheering. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations, Do-Hyun. Enjoy this moment.
Chloe has a point. The audience has really got behind our athletes, and they need it sometimes. So much preparation goes into performing at this level. Hours sweating away in the gym. It's not all about the spotlights and the glory. There's a lot of blood, sweat and tears out there, and having an audience like this that we've been lucky enough to have in Prague, well, it makes a big difference to everyone competing. So thank you if you're out there, and thank you if you were at home screaming at your TV screens. I do hope you do that. In my head, that's what you're doing. You're chalking up with the athletes and just screaming along with them. Well, the podium has been set up and is ready to go on the left stage as they dismantle the equipment on the right. So the audience, you can see their attention starting to drift over to the left. It's cool to see everyone staying around, actually. There tends to be a general mass exodus of audience members, but it's nice to have it. And look at that shot. Moon in the background. I mean, you couldn't have planned it, could you? Podium right in the centre. Full moon in the background. I think it is a full moon today. Saturday, right? Yeah, full moon today. Oh. How beautiful is our sport, hey? You can see the DJ booth on the left. This is where the hard-working DJ has been pressing play on his iPod or whatever they do. Remember, the women's semi-final is tomorrow, 12 p.m. Central European time, and then the final is an hour earlier than tonight's broadcast, so 7 p.m. Central European time. So don't miss it by an hour, because it is fairly quick when we separate the finals like this. And that wall was in use during the qualifying. And if you've watched climbing for a while, you know we don't do a broadcast for the qualifying, but there is a qualifying sort of result/highlight video up, so you can see some of the action and just start to see the picture of who was climbing well at what time. Men's competition really been blown wide open by Do Hyun Lee. And we have one final pure Boulder World Cup to come. That'll be in Brixen, just on the Italian border to Austria. And then we all, as a mass, drive over or take trains over to Innsbruck. And Innsbruck is a real spectacle and a very busy week. We have paraclimbing, speed climbing, lead climbing, boulder, everything. And a venue that a lot of athletes and coaches love to go to. It's a facility they use to train during the off-season. A lot of athletes sort of migrating over that direction. And a few. Chloe was saying earlier that she might actually be leaving to go to Innsbruck tomorrow, so everyone starts to turn their attention over to that. And it is a good training facility. Some of the hardest indoor routes you will find in the world exist there, and there are lots of them. 5 minutes, you can see, until the victory ceremony starts. That moon is still hanging in the sky. Temperatures have dropped here a little bit. People are wearing jumpers outside. See how packed that crowd is. I presume they're going to be waiting for Adam Ondra. And there is the church that's framed against the skyline. Really beautiful to look at. Actually, I can see it from the commentary box. Way over to the right, if you imagine, if you could pan the camera 90 degrees, that's where that church would be. Let's check the final results once more. Do Hyun Lee takes victory. 4 tops out of 4 in just 5 attempts. Really in good form from him. And Adam Ondra, again, 4 tops, 4 zones, of course, but 13 attempts, making the big difference. After that, Mejdi missed that slab. That's what cost him dear, because he would have only had 3 attempts, or 4 attempts, so. Just joining us, we're waiting for the podium. Big section of the crowd waiting for their hero, Adam Ondra, to enter, who won the silver medal. Everyone making their way from right to left in the stadium. Spotlight's just framing the podium. There are different sections to this crowd, you can kind of see it. I'm not sure quite how that works. Don't know if you buy a better ticket, you get closer to the stage, you'd imagine so, wouldn't you? But there is some seating as well. Roster stacked at the back of the stadium. I think we'll be a couple of seconds away. It said 5 minutes on that board. We've pretty much gone through that. I'm not sure what that building is flashing in the background. First time I've actually noticed it, to be perfectly honest. Can someone from Prague tell me? Send me a message. I think a cameraman getting bored, they're finding things to film. It worries me when a cameraman gets bored. He is looking at the clock there. Not sure even where that clock is. In fact, I'm looking around. Oh, I can see it. It's behind the stadium. So it's actually behind your screen. So if you're sitting watching this, it's where you are. Hopefully pretty close here. Certainly the lights have started turning on, panning across the audience. All right, I think we are pretty close here. MC is building everyone up. Victory ceremony, there we go, on the right-hand side. So we're almost there. And then the party can really get started in Prague. Well, here we go, victory ceremony time. The MC announces it. The crowd are starting to pump themselves up. I can see arms being raised. They're getting ready to go here. The stage lights up. And here we go. Onto the stage goes Marco Scolaris, IFSC president, followed by Adam Ondra, Dokyan Lee, and Mejdi Schalk from France. Time for the athletes to get their well-deserved medals. Tough competition. For them, they'll be able to sit back and enjoy the women climbing tomorrow. Imagine a few lions will go down. There is Marco Scolaris.
Accompanied by both Mr. Lee Rakushan, Minister of the Interior of the Czech Republic.
Hopefully you can hear that on your screens. I don't want to speak over the MC too much. Mejdi Shout stands on the podium once more. 3 comps for him this year, 3 podiums, 2 of them gold, 1 bronze. What a run of form he's having. Mejdi gets his trophy, gets his medal. Places it on the floor just so he can clap, presumably. Well, here we go. Adam Ondra's going to get a massive reaction, and he does. The big man's done it again. Silver medal. And he will most certainly be making a play for an Olympic place at some point over the next year period. To see what lead form he's in. I'm not actually sure if he's competing in Brixen, but I would imagine he'll definitely be in Innsbruck, so we shall see. Adam keeping his cards close to his chest here. Cool trophy as well, I like that. Got to chalk up before holding on to that thing. Big pinch there from Adam Ondra as he raises the trophy high. Still got some strength in him. And finally, this man, his first gold medal, only the 2nd Korean male to win a Boulder World Cup. He waits for his name to be announced. Big smile on his face as he bends his neck to get the medal. IFSC gold. Everyone behind Do-hyun, the crowd staying behind to watch their heroes get their medals. Awesome to see. And now we'll drop into silence. Here in the commentary box we hear the national anthem of Korea. Well, there we go. Congratulations, Do-hyun Lee, as he hears his anthem ringing out across the stadium. Once more, trophies held up high, and do come and see us again for the semi-finals and finals tomorrow. For the women, it's going to be an exciting competition. Don't miss a second of it. Athletes stand on the top spot together, as is tradition now, raise their trophies to the air. Gold, silver, and bronze shining out in Prague. Oh, there's some fancy fireworks. I can see fancy fireworks on the edge of the athletes. Real celebrations going on. And you can see the kids getting into it as well. Well, thank you for watching this mountains competition. What a performance from the athletes. We will say goodbye and come back tomorrow for more IFSC action.